Hi, this is Mad Jen with Mad as Heck, Moms and Dads Associated Society, helping to educate conservative constitutionalists. Thanks for watching. If you like what you hear, please share the video and, of course, subscribe to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about the king of liberal stupidity today. And no, I'm not talking about Rachel Madcow. I'm talking about Chris Matthews, or as I like to call him, Chris Tingle. Chris Tingle because it sounds a lot like Kris Kringle, who is, because Chris Matthews is the gift that keeps on giving to conservatives anytime conservatives want to talk about stupid liberals, because there's plenty of material there. And then, of course, the tingle part, because, well, we know where the tingle comes from. Actually, no, I don't really want to know where the tingle comes from, but we know where the word, you get where I'm going. Anyway, Chris Tingle. So he said something today. I think it was before, it wasn't today, it was a couple days ago. I think it was right before the debate the other night, the second presidential debate. And this was brought to my attention because there are actually people out there who can listen to Chris Tingle and not get disgusted, or at least not want to break their TV. I, for one, am not one of those people. But he said something that was pretty outrageously dumb. And we're going to talk about it. But first, let me tell you what outrageously dumb thing Chris Tingle said. And he said, and pardon me, my eyes are giving out on me, and I don't like putting my glasses on because I look stupid in them. So I'm going to try to read this. I think it's the hottest issue that's not been exploited. And I use that positively, exploited. I don't know how this president can't bring it up tonight, because there's a Grand Canyon of difference between Obama, who's very pro-choice, and, for example, the Republican ticket this year, which would give 14th Amendment rights, whatever that means, life, liberty, and property rights, to a fetus that had just been, or rather, an egg that had just been fertilized right after sex, if you will. And to have that notion that there would be a person under this personhood thing that Ryan's pushing, and under the 14th Amendment rights, the platform that Romney's running on. This is extremism. I say center-right tonight. It's almost like Sharia. You're saying to the country, we're going to operate under a religious theory, under a religious belief. We're going to run our country this way, to put to the point of making a woman's decision to have an abortion, her reproductive rights, as criminal, perhaps murderous. There's so much there. I don't know if I can get it into all of it. But first of all, the man said the 14th Amendment, whatever that is. Dude, don't you have commercial breaks on your show? Or I'm pretty sure there's most talk shows or people getting ready to go on to a Fox News channel, or I guess you wouldn't be Fox. You would be some other more ridiculous channel. Isn't there a thing called show prep? I mean, if you're going to rant about them bringing up the 14th Amendment, wouldn't it behoove you to at least go to Google and pull up the 14th Amendment so you don't have to go, whatever that is? I mean, granted, you have a high level of disregard for our Constitution. That's obvious. But to be so lax in your duties as whatever your stupid job is, to not even be able to look that up, that's pretty ridiculous. Now, first of all, or second of all, I have never heard Chris Tingle say anything negative about Sharia law or Muslims or anything like that. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. If he's actually come out against those ridiculous institutions, then let me know about it. But I've never heard him talk bad about Sharia or Muslims or anything like that. So he's not concerned that the righties are actually are going to be like Sharia here, because he doesn't care about Sharia. It doesn't bother him. So he knows that that's a buzzword for conservatives, and he's trying to, and for people that, maybe don't know that much about Islam, but they know what Sharia is. So it's not like he's concerned about that. So this is all feigned crap that he's coming up with here, just to make a big deal out of things and to scare people into thinking that the Republican ticket is just some crazy psychotic extremist. Okay, so there's that issue. But then for him to say, okay, another thing that gets me is how liberals always talk about how conservatives are the ones that always deny science. Conservatives deny science. Okay, when I first started going to college, my degree was a biology degree. So I took a lot of biology classes. Pretty much in every biology 101 class, you know what I learned? I learned that on cell replication, when cells replicate, that's life. Hello, scientific. Cells begin to replicate. It's called life, people. It's not a religious freaking theory. It's life. It's biology 101. Go back and learn it, maybe. You should do that, Mr. Tingle. So it's not a religious theory. Yes, it's religious people and people of faith don't like to murder. They don't like the idea of murdering human life. Yeah, that's religious. But the fact that that little blob of cells is actually a human, that's actually biology. Oh, you know, if they find a single cell organism, which means that you got to look into a microscope in order to see it, on Mars, oh my gosh, the headlines are, they found life on Mars, life on Mars. But you find a single cell in a woman's womb, that's not life. No, that's not life. No, let's kill it. It's all right, no big deal. It's not life. It's a woman's choice. How can this not be clear to you liberals? That this has nothing to do with, it's not that it has nothing to do with religious belief, because it does. It has a lot to do with religious belief. But for somebody to say that they want to protect that thing that actually is a life growing inside a woman's womb, liberals, I thought you guys were the ones that were always for the little guy. Always trying to stand up for the oppressed. Always trying to stand up for equality and all that kind of crap. Why would you not stand up for something that so clearly, scientifically, is life? Why? Why? Because you're selfish people. That's why. Because it's more important that you guys don't have to be forced to live the way you don't want to live. Oh, you're more than willing to force other people to live the way they don't want to live. You don't want people talking bad about Muslims, even though Muslims murder women like left and right all the time, all over the world. They murder homosexuals left and right all over the place, all over the world. You don't seem to care about that, do you? But anyway, you don't want people to say bad things. Oh, and you know another thing I heard recently? That there are people at like these crazy, meetings for the global warming meetings. They're talking about how nice it would be if they could criminalize people speaking out against global warming. I'm pretty sure no conservatives standing up there making that stance. Why is it always the liberals that want to silence others and take away rights of others? Take away the life of the unborn, take away freedom of speech? And why is it that Chris Matthews doesn't know what the 14th Amendment is? Because, the 14th Amendment was pretty freaking huge. And it should be really, really huge to liberals. So let me explain to you guys what the 14th Amendment is here. And I did actually pull it up because I didn't want to, say whatever that is. I want to actually read what the 14th Amendment is all about and why it's important. There are about 3 different clauses in the 14th Amendment that are important. One is the Citizenship Clause. It provides a broad definition of citizenship that overrules the Supreme Court's ruling in Dred Scott versus Sanford. Then there's also the Due Process Clause, which prohibits state and local governments from depriving persons of life, liberty, and property without certain steps being taken to ensure fairness. Yeah, we're wanting to make sure that unborn child in there gets personhood so that they can not have their lives taken away from them without due process. What due process would make it okay to murder a baby in the womb, a life? Back to Biology 101. And then the third one is the Equal Protection Clause, which requires each state to provide equal protection under the law to people within its jurisdiction. So yeah, the 14th Amendment is pretty freaking relevant to this cause. Pretty darn relevant. And all Chris Tingle had to do was Google the 14th Amendment, and he would have been brought up pretty quickly, brought up to speed. But, I guess studying the 14th Amendment or the Constitution doesn't give him a tingle up his leg, like talking about Republicans and how they're trying to inflict a religious theory that actually is not a religious theory. It's a pretty scientific theory. So who are the ones now, liberals, who like to deny science? I wouldn't say it's the conservatives. I would say it's you. And you're caught with the hand in the cookie jar. You just refuse to accept the scientific fact that life begins upon cell replication. And the very second, literally, the very second a sperm enters an egg cell, it starts replicating. Therefore, it is life in the womb. It's a baby. It's a human. Trump. We've been trumped. Or I guess that would be checkmate. Sorry, I got my games wrong. Anyway, if you have comments, please share. If you have negative comments, that's okay. You can share those too. But I can guarantee you that they're not going to go unchallenged. So Have a great week. Long live the Republic, and I hope to see you back.